Alright, today I'll be talking from a book called Social: Why Our Brains Are Wired to Connect by Matthew Lieberman. And I'll start by talking about a 1970 study by Gordon Schulman and colleagues at Washington University, where they used positron emission tomography, or PET scanning, to identify what brain regions are most active when you are at rest and not doing any task specifically. And so in PET scanning, subjects inhale radioactive tracers, and using gamma rays, scientists can determine where blood is flowing to in the brain. So when a region has more active neurons, more blood travels to that region. And so they found a set of brain regions that were reliably more active when people were at rest and doing nothing compared to when they were performing a specific task. And they called this the default network. So Matthew says to go ahead and close your eyes for 30 seconds and think about nothing. Just let your brain be at rest. And if you did that, what you may find, and most people do find, is that your brain was actually highly active and you darted around from one thought or feeling to the next. So if you're like most people and you probably thought about people, yourself, or both. In other words, you engaged in what psychologists call social cognition. And what social neuroscientists have found is that the network in the brain that shows up during social cognition studies is virtually identical to the default network. In other words, the default network supports social cognition, or making sense of other people and of ourselves. In another study, they gave people just 2 seconds of downtime in between solving math problems. And what they found is that in between that small amount of time, just 2 seconds, that default network was already active. In other words, the default network comes on more like a reflex. It's the brain's preferred state of being, and one that it returns to literally the second that it has the chance. So since it acts like a like a reflex, it may nudge our direction towards the social world and social thoughts. And rather than just thinking about other people as objects in our environment, it directs us to think about other people's minds, their thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It promotes understanding and empathy, consideration, and compassion. And it suggests, evolutionary speaking, that evolution made a big bet on the importance of developing and using our social intelligence for the overall success of our species by focusing our brain's free time on social cognition. Lastly, he quotes a couple studies on babies where they found that almost from the second a baby is born, their brain is already, the default network is already active. So they're already engaging in social thoughts right when they're born. However, the same pattern was not seen in infants born prematurely, so it suggests that this mechanism is engaged to set to turn on when we are most likely to enter the social world. So that's it for today. I know that was quite a bit, but in the next video I'll cover more on social evolutionary speaking, how we have evolved to be more of social beings. So I hope that helps.